Okay, cool, cool, cool. Are you ready,
Yeah, let's do
Poppy?
this. Let's do this. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fusion Radio. I'm your host, Jessica Daylover, CMO Mama Bear of Nuclear Fusion Network. And with me today, we got Poppy. We've got the CEO of Nuclear Fusion Network. It's Pia, Malika. Hi, Pia.
What up?
It's our first live together. How are you feeling about it?
Honestly, I've been waiting for this day for like a year
Oh, yeah? Why is that?
because that's when we filmed our first podcast. And I was like, whoa, I think I might be addicted to this.
Oh, yes. Welcome. Welcome to my world where I like to play. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm being vain, and the color coming through me on the inside the network is such a nice warm tone, and I don't like my Riverside tone right now. Today's topic, in the spirit of Nuclear Fusion 3.0, Village is not a metaphor. The month this week is Bits of Connection, and our theme today is building community as an autistic introvert, which I feel like is so perfect for us. And it's not like we forced these topics. You and I brainstormed for 2.5 seconds
Right.
about what is real to us that we could talk about. And this is what came out. Do you want to speak to that?
It's like the story of my life. That's why it's so easy to grab.
Yeah. So many of us want Village, but our nervous systems want blankets and quiet rooms and absolutely zero eye contact. And, I saw two different videos in the algorithm today. And one was like, oh, everyone talks about the commune, but I just want space.
Right.
And the other one was like, white supremacy and capitalism has you afraid to live with your friends, pretty much. And I feel like there is so much nuance that needs to be unpacked here. And so, on a scale of social butterfly to please do not perceive me, where is your nervous system today, Poppy Love?
Today, well, I will say my default setting is please do not perceive me. That's where I start every day. But today I would say that I'm I I'm still not on the side of social butterfly on the
Mm-hmm.
spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a little bit towards the middle, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, you know?
Yeah.
And I would say that's solely due to the weather. Like the sunshine, the nice weather has me being like, oh, I could be a social butterfly today.
Yeah. See, and the dopamine lives in the potential, right?
Right,
I'm going to talk about writing my new book. I'm not going to actually write my new book because
right,
I get the dopamine from talking about it.
right.
Uh,
I
yeah.
think it's probably gonna stop there though.
Yeah. Can I tell you about one of the great plights of my life? Is that people don't believe me that I'm introverted.
Mm,
If people don't believe me that I'm shy. I'm ambiverted. I learned that that's a thing. And of course,
right.
in true bisexual spirit, of course, I'm ambiverted. Um, But one of the great plights of my life is that people do not believe that I'm shy. And first of all, it's fucking offensive when somebody tells you something about their identity and somebody invalidates it based on their image of you.
Oh boy.
Like, I'm self-reporting here. And I think this is a very common thing for outgoing theater folk, right? Because I am outgoing, I am tenacious. I just don't know how to make conversation. And I do want to be perceived, but I don't want to be perceived. And I really, really struggle autistically to make new friends, to not be weird in a social interaction. If you take me to a party where you know everybody and I know nobody, or it doesn't matter who you know, if you take me to a party and I don't know anybody, I am in the corner scrolling my phone, making zero effort because I am freaking out about how to be a normal person. Um, and my favorite type of human is I call it the Heather effect because one of my best friends, all my friends are best in case you didn't know,
Uh-huh.
but one of my best friends, Heather, is the person that you take to the party, and within 30 seconds, she's across the room.
Right.
She's made 30 new friends, and
Right.
she knows their life story, and it's so
It's so cool.
genuine.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. I love having that friend,
Yeah.
right? And,
Yeah.
like, I need that friend in order
Mhm.
to be in social environments,
Mhm.
right? I need my wingman.
I admire it so much. I think it is one of the best qualities a human could have. I have several friends who are genuinely like this, like that golden retriever
Right.
energy. Never went anywhere that they didn't make a friend. And it is very much not me. But what
Right.
makes yeah,
So when
what
I see it, that's how I know I'm not that.
yes. Yes.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And with enough preparation, or sometimes I get really lucky, I can fake it. Like,
Right.
sometimes I nail an interaction and somebody's like, "You are not shy," and I'm like, "No, I fucking nailed that
Mask.
though." I
Yeah.
masked and then now I have to go home and recover for 3 to 5
Right.
days
Woo, that
because
part.
that was totally I don't like fake, but masked.
Yeah.
It does not come naturally to me.
Right.
Um,
Like, I've gotta put on a persona.
yeah, I'm not friendly. I definitely am somebody who's accused of being bitchy. Um,
Yeah.
but I think being a public persona, people then have this image about me, but then what's really happening I'm not bitchy, I'm just autistic and having a panic
Right.
attack.
Right. Right. I used to get that a lot, when I was younger, which made me then lean into masking more because I'm like, people think I'm like, "Don't talk to me," right?
Yeah.
Which might be true, but, but also not, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, in I'll have environments where I'm like, I'm totally want to interact, but I'm too shy and introverted. Which, by the way, Jess, I was gonna ask you, do you think I'm shy? Like,
Uh,
objectively.
well, I don't know because I haven't been in social situations with you enough
Right.
to know.
No, yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
um, do you identify as shy? Because self-reporting on this, I will take as valid.
Yeah, very shy. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super, super shy.
The amount of times I have had conversation in my head but didn't actually say the words out loud. It happened today. It happened today. I was doing laundry. I was doing laundry and, you know, I live in the East Village of New York City, and this is the type of neighborhood where if you frequent enough, everyone knows you, right? So the laundromat, everyone who works there knows me. So sometimes I have small conversation, which I don't like. I don't like small talk, but I feel like I have to do it in order to maintain my community, right? Because then we
Yes.
can continue to have friendly interactions every time I come through that laundromat. So on my exit, the lady who's always there is at the desk and I'm passing her. And in my head, I was like, I'll see you tomorrow because I knew I was coming back tomorrow to do another load. And I said it 3 times in my head. I was like, okay, maybe I'll say it out loud this time. And I only said it in my head still, and I left, and I was like, "Damn, I was so close. I was so close, yo."
I saw something today that said it's okay to embarrass yourself in pursuit of human connection. And I was like, I should get that tattooed on my body because that brought me so much calm. It says here in our show notes, like, what makes community building uniquely hard when you're autistic or deeply introverted. And honestly, so me as an autistic person, there are some flavor of autistics who don't feel embarrassment. They don't feel the
Right,
emotion of embarrassment.
right,
Whatever you don't feel, I got all of it.
right,
I feel embarrassment. It feels like it's going to kill me. And so most of what is happening, and now I have a child who is like this, and my child really is just me. It's a little 8-year-old me, and diagnosed generalized anxiety. And it was interesting watching the diagnosis kind of, is it autism? Is it this? And I was like trying to tell the psych person, that the diagnostician that like, but the anxiety for me is the autism because what's happening is I don't know the script here. What
Right.
is the script?
Right.
I'm going to embarrass myself, and
Right.
then that embarrassment will kill me,
Right.
you know? And so I'm like, that's the anxiety. Is I'm too autistic to understand what's going on in any given social moment at any time, and I'm afraid I'm gonna die.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is remind me of another thing I'm unpacking right now because look, it's this autism trait that I'm realizing I identify with, which is non-speaking, right? And so it begs me the question, am I shy or am I just non-speaking? Right?
Ugh,
Because
wow.
you're right. Because I want to interact, but how hard, I'm telling you, it's physically painful for me to speak words out of my mouth. Like I was exiting this laundromat, saying it in my head, telling my body, "Okay, say it out loud." And it's only in
Huh,
my head, you know? And
wow.
and it's and this is because I think I'm coming to realize that I'm actually more non-speaking than I realized because of how much I've
Mm,
been masking my whole life. I've learned to
wow.
break through words to make words out of my mouth like I'm doing right now. But it's hard, y'all. Like, sometimes words are hard to put together, so sometimes I stutter. Like, I don't know if you've noticed just that I stutter,
Mm-mm.
but I'll notice my cadence gets stuck because words are hard. And I realized the definition of non-speaking is just like speaking 30 words or less. And I purposefully filter my words so I can speak as least amount of words as possible. So sometimes people I interact with, they're frustrated by that because I'll answer one word. But to me, it's sufficient. It's sufficient. It's easy. I can say one word, but they want more. So then I say four words, but that's still not enough. I'm like, okay, you want me to speak more words? This is hard. And I don't expect people to have the patience with me and, patience with allowing me to take my time in speaking my words, which then feeds into I'll just be quiet. you know, I won't
You
try.
On our show notes here, it has me asking you what parts of our traditional community advice just do not work for autistic folks, and I mean, you literally just answered that.
Right.
And I'm autistic hyperverbal. I'm like,
Right. The opposite. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm often saying too much
Right.
and blowing people out, like as far as like that's a psychic term, but I did too much.
Right. And I'm the opposite.
But it's just so spectrumy. It's just
Right.
different expressions of oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I saw this I've wanted to make content about this, but a while ago, I have to say over a year ago, a video went viral in our neck of the algorithm that was basically like people need to stop shitting on small talk because small talk is the building blocks of community building.
Right. Right. It
And
is.
I was like, wow, that is so humbling.
Uh,
Um, I was like, it was such a beautiful touche for me as somebody who has been like, yeah, I'm too good. I'm too good for small talk. I just hate it. It's like, hit me with the real deep shit, you know? I'm too good for small talk and not even too good because ultimately what it is it makes me uncomfortable. There is something
right.
just like eye contact.
Right.
Speaking of what community building things are hard for autistic folks, eye contact. And I went to the comments, and the comments were, as you can imagine, just a bunch of neurodivergent people being super entitled to being right. And being like, it's hard for me as an autistic person, and the rest of the world needs to learn to have deep talk. And I think it's like, can we have the both and? Can we both have a touche moment? Can
Yeah.
neurotypical people who love small talk and understand that it's the building blocks of community building, um, can they have a like, "Oh, that's so interesting that that's hard for you. Touche. I would love to like learn how to meet you where you are." And then can autistic people, especially white autistic people, on behalf of white autistic people who expect the world to cater to our needs at all times and the way we constantly want to be marginalized, um, and entitled to having the world cater to our needs, um, can we have a touche moment of like, here I am, a community builder, somebody who says I want village, and then I'm like, wow, small talk's hard for me. Maybe I should practice. maybe I should learn. Maybe I should lean into it a little bit.
That was definitely my journey. In college, I wrote a creative piece on how much I dislike small talk. That's how passionate I was about small talk. But since then, I've definitely adapted. Like, I understand that small talk. I've realized that small talk is a building block in, forming connection at the cold level, like just cold interaction. Small
Yeah.
talk is what works. So I'm like, okay, where do I find the meeting place? And I'm not gonna lie, my go-to is weather.
Okay, so but it's always, I swear to God, it's the weather. Okay,
It's easy for me. For some reason, that one feels light. Okay, we can do that.
okay, so what's triggering about small talk for me is that it feels scripted, which
Oh,
is
for sure.
interesting because my autistic brain is like, what's the script? What's the
Right.
script? And then
The
the small
irony.
talk is like, here's the script. I'm like,
Yeah.
this one sucks.
I know.
Boring.
Right.
But I think for me, and I definitely talk about this a lot as a neurodivergent person in the polyamorous dating world, which is it's not going anywhere.
Right.
It's and maybe that's the trick, is that you have to be willing to take it somewhere. Because what triggers me is I'm like, hey, how are you? Good. What's up? Not just a Tuesday. You
Right.
weather's nice, and then yep, and then so
Right.
how's the rise of fascism? Like
Right.
it's but like I have so much more to say about the rise of fascism than I do the weather. Also in this moment, I think it's triggering for me because I come from a really non-connective family that uses small talk to relate to each other instead of having a deep, real relationship ever to talk about real things. And so I actually in this moment do think that is also some of what's happening, is like I have a lot of water in my chart. Your girl just wants connection.
Right.
And I feel like people use small talk to avoid real connection.
Right. So I invite us to use small talk to bridge deep connection.
Oh my God. So we need a small talk challenge.
Exactly.
We need to build a small talk challenge in the network.
Because like I like weather because what I do is it's an easy one. It works, right? Right. Because anyone can just like be, yeah, let's talk about it for a second. But I bridge it to vibe. I bridge it to mood, which then blossoms into something real, right? Which is how I kind of bridge it. So we're moving away from small talk as fast as possible,
You know what? Sorry, go ahead. Did I cut you off?
No, I was just going to say, like, sometimes I'll do it right away by just immediately being vulnerable, like sharing something about how this weather affected my vibe and mood today, right? Which then kind of creates some depth in that short interaction.
I think for me too, I need to be unattached. So like because I get mad because I'm like, well, the small talk doesn't go anywhere. And it's like, maybe that's okay.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't have to. It's still, a building block of community.
Right.
But I was talking to our beloved mutual friend Avita, and
shout out.
I know, I just love this human so much. But they were talking about how this woman came up to them at the gym and started making small talk, and that their autistic like response to small talk is, why the fuck are you talking to me like energetically? Like I'm standing here waiting for my protein smoothie and this white bitch just starts talking about whatever fucking shoes I'm wearing. And it's just like, why are you talking to me? And I'm like, I totally do that because I'm like,
for sure,
as an autistic person, I'm usually and ADHD, I have 10,000 thoughts going on in my head.
Right. I'm
at any given time. And if you're talking to me about my shoes, I'm like, why are you you're interrupting my conversation with myself.
Right.
But that she was like, she checked herself of like, why is that my like reflex, to somebody trying to have connection with me? And can I lean in and be like, oh, thanks, my shoes, and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, that's so interesting. Is your arm getting tired? What's going on?
No, I'm just noticing we got some people who joined us. So shout out to Stacy, Hannah, and Brittany who joined us.
Why does that sound like a song? Stacy, Hannah, Brittany. Like, dun, 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 dun,
hey, coming in with the music.
LaQuisha. Yeah, that's all you know what I'm talking about?
Right, yeah. I think that's a Kanye West song.
No, it's I'm drinking and they paying me for it. That song.
Yo, maybe there's a few out there.
Um, so I think that we need a small talk challenge in the
Yeah.
network. It makes me want to punch something, so I
Cringe.
know we knew it. I know we
Yeah.
need to
Whew.
like, basically a 7-day challenge where you have to initiate small talk once a day, which means you have to leave your house. This is why our network is for people who wanna do the thing, which leads
Right.
me to the second part of the show sheet, which is the do the thing concept. And shout out to one of my beloved community builder friends. Her name's Erin. I talk about her a lot. If you've read my blog that I centered friendship last year, and it changed my life when I sent a text to a mom I didn't really know in Reno and said, "Do you want to start hanging out?" And now we're freaking basically wives. And if we could buy this plot of land next to my house, we would definitely be living next door to each other and doing life together. Shout out Erin. I love you so much. But she was like, she runs a community center for pregnant and postpartum people, and also, dads and stuff, but it's a lot of pregnant and postpartum people. And a lot of the work she does, I mean, we are very much doing very similar work, which is why we get along so well, but she's really grassroots on the ground in the city, doing it with people who need it the most, which is, pregnant and postpartum people. And she was telling me, like, that she tells these women in her Circle of Babies group, like, the secret to building mom friends is to do the thing. You just have to ask.
Yeah.
The mom sitting next to you right now, you have to turn to your right before class is over and been like, "Do you want to exchange
It's
numbers?
true.
Yeah, do you want to meet at the park tomorrow?" And so that really, really affected me, and I started seeing it everywhere. And then we call it in the network the do the thing principle. Don't know if she invented it. Don't know if we're the first people. I'm sure it's a thing. Who knows? But in the network, we call it the do the thing principle. And what we are finding as social engineers is that it is the fuel of community building. Like, if small talk is one of the nails of community building, do the thing is the fuel. And community is built when one person is brave enough to do the thing, which is the bid for connection. They're basically the same thing.
Right.
Bids of connection will only work if you do if you do the thing.
Right.
And so tell me about, like, we were talking kind of off air about how do the thing has been really crucial to you as an autistic introvert interested in community building.
Yeah, because it wouldn't happen otherwise. It's like that YOLO era. You just gotta jump.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise it won't happen,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're avoidant.
Add
Um,
that in. Well,
right,
luckily I don't have that. Luckily I
right,
don't have that.
right. So and, like, I think the stakes of do the thing, we make it bigger in our head, right? Do the thing can be real small. It can be, like, smile at someone today with eye
Mm-hmm.
contact, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
that could be, like, a passive do the thing, right? Because we didn't have a conversation, but I did something that maybe us, did a bit of connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, or, liking people's photos or something, instead of commenting feels big, but I'm gonna start liking,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we can start small, and I think that momentum makes it easier to do, like, the bigger thing.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you're participating in our 7-day, bids for connection challenge, which is essentially a do the thing challenge, that's really what it is. We are helping you do that. Um, there is somebody I was talking about our village accountability group in a video, and in how we meet and, we create these goals for bids of connection we want to make, and then we have a month to do it, and that container and that accountability really helps people, and that's what our whole network is about now. And some asshat commented, "Oh my God, we don't need a fucking app for this. You just go knock on your neighbor's door and you say hi, and then you wave to people at the grocery store. It's not that fucking hard. We don't need an app." You don't need an app.
Right.
You don't need an app. I
and
need an app.
inviting the compassion for those who need a nap.
Yes.
Right? To knock on that
Yes.
door, because I definitely need a pep talk, right?
Yeah.
If I don't have an app, I need a pep talk. I need an
Yeah.
accountability, right,
Mhm.
partner. I
I
need a
need a
friend.
container.
Yeah, I need a container, and that's what we're providing in this app,
Yes.
right?
We're and I think the thing for autistic introverts is as you were saying exactly, the do the thing has to be scaled correctly. And as
Mm,
neurodivergent people, we often do make it too big.
right.
I need to go
That's
knock on my neighbor's
right,
door and ask if they want to start having weekly dinners. And you're
right,
like, or just wave,
right. Or
actually.
just say hi in the elevator, right? And we'll start there,
We'll start there.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because but community isn't built through waiting, thinking, planning, and lurking quietly in group chats. Um, you do have to do the thing
right.
that
Yeah.
connects.
I would say in my personal journey with that, which is like, where I was kind of sharing with you offline, right? So one piece of it is in my human design, I'm a projector. So what that means is I'm one of those. What that means is one of the attributes of that is like for connection to happen, I have to wait for the invitation. And I'm like, oh, that's thank God, because I'd rather not go reach for the bids. I'd rather the bids come to me. And that by design is supposed to be the best alignment for my connections, just waiting for the invitation. So
Like a
when
vampire being
right,
invited in
right. So then I'm like, okay, how do I
to
integrate
be
that?
invited in.
Right? Because if I have to wait for the invitation, how do I integrate that? Right? Because I can't still do nothing. That doesn't mean do nothing. Right?
Ooh,
Right?
there's some tea.
Exactly. Right? So integrating this, I'm like, okay, the first place I'm going to start is my energy, because I know the world perceives me different if I'm walking around feeling open in my energy and feeling closed in my energy. So when I'm like in the space of like, ooh, I'm looking for the invitation, then I'm purposely like opening my energy. Like everyone see my aura, but not too much. Right?
Damn. Damn, this is
Because
good shit.
because what I'm doing actually, and why I say not too much, is because I'm really wanting to like calibrate my opening to that invitation, right? Because today I want to be invited to um, a movie group, someone who
Mhm,
wants to invite me to movies, and then like, I'm creating more space for that. I'm putting myself in spaces where that opportunity might rise, right?
mhm.
Um, like if I want to find more people to dance with. Like that's one of the things I like to do. I like to dance in New York City. So like how do I find more dancing people,
I
right?
can't believe we didn't go dancing.
I know, right? But I go out and then I have like eye contact, right? We have vibes and then they come over to me and start talking. I'm like, cool. I created an invitation for them to come over to me so I can actually react to a real invitation, which allows me to feel more comfortable. Me going out to talk to someone feels way more hard than me responding to someone.
Mhm,
So that's how I've been integrating that piece, right? The other piece is for doing the thing. The times I really actually do the thing is when it's like I can't ignore it. Like it's so loud in my body. Like
mhm.
there's a particular person that I'll see every time I go boxing and I'm like, I feel like we're going to be friends. And like I ignored it the first time, but now I'm in their space again and I'm like, nah, we could be friends. I can feel it. So it's getting louder in my body. So to the point where like I can't ignore it. So now I'm going to them and being like, hey, how often do you come here? Because I'm like, what's the small talk script?
Can we agree on the one that we're gonna use?
Right.
Oh my god, totally.
Right.
That's hilarious.
So I will say I think a lot of it has to do with intuition with doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like what's that voice, right? That you need to like listen to where it's telling you to go reach out to that person.
Unrelated?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, but the few times I experimented with microdosing LSD, the thing that I noticed, because it's like the reason I love a microdose is you can have a day. You're not
Right.
tripping, right?
Right. Right.
But when I was microdosing with acid, I felt so extroverted.
Mm,
I was like, this was years ago, but I was like, I feel open. When you're describing when I'm walking down the street, am I open
right.
or closed? That was
Right.
the thing. I was like, I'm so open.
Right.
And I could feel,
You
I
can
need
feel
to
the
talk to that
difference.
person. I
Yeah.
need to, and I
Yeah.
had I guess what you would say is I had no anxiety. I think that's what was happening, was, like, there was no social anxiety. Um, what do you think do the thing looks like for somebody who gets socially exhausted quickly?
Oof. Hmm. I would say do the thing looks like taking care of yourself before and after
Yeah.
for someone who's
Little
exhausted.
pre-care, aftercare?
Yeah, pre-care, aftercare, you know? Because sometimes doing the thing is like, you gotta allow yourself to that be the only thing you do today. If that's
Mhm,
how much it's gonna cost
mhm.
you, right? So then you can spend the rest of the day being like rewarding yourself, right?
Yeah.
Feeling fulfilled by the fact that you finally did that thing that you probably were avoiding. So I would say just a lot of care
Mhm.
before and after.
Yeah, and kind of circling back to what we were talking about earlier, especially with white autistics, like, it's also okay to remember it's okay for autistic people to do hard things. Um, I know that we in many ways, we are neurodivergent people living in a neurotypical world, so just existing and surviving every day is the hard thing.
Right.
Sure, sure, sure. Give yourself credit. La la
Right.
la, la di
Right.
da. But it's also okay for something to be hard in pursuit of connection. Like, so like that quote earlier of it's okay to embarrass yourself in pursuit of human connection. It's okay to do something hard in
Yeah.
pursuit of human connection. It's okay to be tired.
Honestly, I'll
Yeah.
I'll say to on that note, to call folks out that like to hang out in that area, it's a form of procrastination where you can convince yourself you're still doing something, but you're still procrastinating. Because it's like you know what you gotta do, right? But
Yep.
if you're like, "That's too hard, I'm gonna do this," and then be like, "That's good enough," you're procrastinating doing the real thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of capitalism and white supremacy in there too, I think, which if you're at all interested in dismantling that stuff, you might find that motivating. It doesn't mean that you can't return to the isolation and but oh God. So like I said, the person who said like small talk is is the building blocks of community building, and there was autistic people triggered in the comments of like, but that's hard for me and I end up
Yeah.
drained and da 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 like um I think if you're interested in dismantling white supremacy, like, it's okay to examine, like, yeah, like you said, like procrastinating, and can we pursue these uncomfortable things in order to get back to communal living? And a communal living doesn't mean you don't get to go back to your tiny home where you live with no one and you have your own space and you can breathe and you can regulate. Um, but modern, and this is something we talk about a lot as fusioneers, modern society has given avoidance, introverts, neurodivergent people, it is very easy to pacify yourself,
Mm,
um, to satisfy the lack of connection.
right.
So I think in any, so we have a loneliness epidemic, we have an isolation epidemic, we have a burnout epidemic, but we're not as motivated to actually do the thing and do the work to solve it because I live stream every streaming network there is. I currently have a show giving me dopamine. I need to go find out what happens next. I'm going to go binge 3 episodes and not respond to a single text during that time, and then I'm gonna DoorDash some Ben& and Jerry's, and so, like, all of the things I have to pacify myself through the loneliness are accessible to me, but I'm not actually solving the loneliness with the ice cream and the streaming, I'm just pacifying it.
Right, and then the the problem there is then normalizing it, to the
Mm,
point where you're not even motivated to break that cycle,
mm,
because it's been so normalized, but you still feel like something's missing.
mm. Uh-oh, Hank's being summoned. Can
Which
you
is
say
why
more about that?
yeah, because I feel like that's, part of the reasons why we created this app,
Mhm.
because, we know there are people out there that feel like there's something missing, right? And they don't know what it is, but we do. It's community,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But because we're in this consumerism system,
Mhm.
it's really easy to get distracted with this pacification.
Mhm.
Um, so when you have those moments, because when we're in that when we're hooked into that, you have moments of being like, wait, I want to break out of this cycle, but you can quickly then fall into it again. But
Yeah.
in those moments of I want to break this cycle, that's when we have this app to be like, join us,
Yeah.
right? To break this cycle. And then this is why we have these challenges to create action around breaking this cycle.
Yes, and something that I said in a piece of content the other day, which resonated with more people, and I'm like, I think I need to dig into this further. And it plays into the science of we're getting dopamine by thinking about something or talking
Right.
about something.
Right.
I talked about how I'm a chronic post saver. So
Mm,
I'm saving lots of posts right now that are like how to build community, how to
right.
be a good villager,
Right.
how to grow your friend group as an adult. And I'm
Right.
like, save, save. And your brain is literally getting the dopamine,
Right.
saving the post, making the plan, but you're not doing the thing. And
Right.
if you need help doing the thing, we have an app for that, actually, literally. And it's so simple that some people get triggered and go, you don't need an app for that. That's cool. I do. I want to acknowledge there are people on our live stream right now talking about doing the challenge and going and logging their steps for the day. We really appreciate you guys doing our challenge. And I also want to acknowledge somebody said, I'm scared of using LSD. First of all, disclaimer, neither Pierre and I are experts in that. So we offer no medical advice, and you should always seek medical advice before engaging in any psychedelic therapy. However, we both are huge advocates for psychedelic therapy, and we are both people who have directly experienced the healing benefits of those things as autistic people, which I think is not talked about enough.
Oof. Yeah.
I also want to remind people that sometimes you're scared of a psychedelic medicine because it's not for you. And other times you're scared because you are, and only you can know that.
Right.
Because it is for you, actually, is what I mean. And only you can know that difference. And final thing I want to remind people is no one talks about microdosing enough. Like, people think if you're going to experiment with a psychedelic, you have to like take an amount that's terrifying, when actually there is so much healing to be done in very, very, very small amounts. So anyway, not my field, just a passion, not my field. Somebody said I'm currently microdosing shrooms and it's great. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Great for community building because, like I said, I am suddenly anything that helps an autistic person with their social anxiety is going to be good for community
It
building.
definitely helps me.
Yeah. Or it increases mine. It's kind of a roll of the dice. Suddenly I'm like, I can't go in that room, actually. Wow, this is great. Guys, let us know if you have any questions. Thanks for being here. As we head into our last like 10-15 minutes, I want to talk about practical strategies for autistic introverts interested in community building, and one of them is energy budgeting.
Mm,
So recognizing spoons are real. Social
spoons are
spoons is
real.
real. And being honest about that. Um, and being able to communicate that to your community um, at any given time. Another thing is asynchronous connection. So community doesn't have to be in real time. So sometimes connection is Marco Polo, the app Marco Polo, where my friend sent me one yesterday and I haven't gotten to it today, but then I'll respond today. And then in 2 days, I'll get their reply. Not ideal, right? But we're creating systems that work for neurodivergent and disabled people, frankly. Structured interaction. Prompts are greater than small talk sometimes. This is one, and I do want to make content about this. My single greatest pro tip for being an autistic community builder interested in hosting gathering events: have an activity that people can do that doesn't require explanation, or maybe even if it does, but I recommend as a host. The best thing I have ever done when creating community dinners where people don't necessarily know each other and everyone's coming in. So then I know everyone, which is like my happy space, but then I get autistic host pressure because I don't know how to connect people. A giant jigsaw puzzle for the adults gathered around the table, because then all of a sudden the people who you have something to do
Right.
that is structured, and then the water cooler conversation can happen around the puzzle. And for me, that has been huge to taking the I don't know the script here pressure off because we're just doing a puzzle.
Right.
Um,
And so shout out to board games and such,
yes, board
right?
games,
Card games, yeah.
crafts if you have kids.
Crafts, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we hosted a oh god, it was so awkward. I was sweating. I was literally sweating because I realized 20 minutes in that half of the people didn't know what they were doing here and had maybe been dragged by their partner, and we had no structure to the dinner, and I was just in my autistic hell, and after they left that day, I looked at my partner, I was like, "We're never hosting a dinner ever again that doesn't have a purpose."
Yeah,
Like,
that's
if we because it was, like, around the holidays, and I was like, "If we had just had a Halloween craft for the kids,
right.
none of that first 45 minutes of hell would have happened." Yeah.
That's
So
definitely one of the pros of, neurodivergent leaders in community, right? Because we're gonna have a quiet corner, we're gonna have a comfy corner, we're gonna have a games corner,
mhm,
arts and crafts, activities, a schedule, right?
mhm,
Um, a direction of flow. I do want to circle back to the
mhm,
prompts though,
mhm.
because, looking back, I'm like, because I didn't realize I was autistic until I was an adult. So looking back on my childhood years, I love 21 Questions, that game.
Yeah, oh my god.
Loved that game, right? And, like,
I
now
got
I
the
know why.
neurodivergent child
Now I know why,
experience.
right?
Yeah.
Prompts are great, y'all.
Mhm,
I love prompts. It's, like, what I use for dating, but it's
mhm.
also what I use for friendships, like, friendships that I know that are gonna go deep, we're gonna be on the call or we're gonna be on the phone or hanging out, just talking like, spitballing questions back and forth and seeing where that dives into conversation. Love that. Love that.
Yeah, that's my secret to dating as an autistic person as well.
Right.
I will ask them to come to the date with questions, like
Mhm.
21 question style, and then
Yeah.
I have them break it up into categories of um,
Ooh,
like just
categories.
for fun,
Yeah.
like silly, like would you rather wrestle one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horse, or whatever,
Yeah.
silly, and then personal, you know, like what are your childhood wounds that you're currently working on in therapy, or less intense than that, um, and then like if we want a flirty vibe, there's a secret third category of like sexy flirty questions.
Fun.
Yeah, the container is so nice,
Yeah.
and without that, I tend to do more of the emotional labor on a date, because people are terrible at relating. They literally have no fucking idea, and, I don't have awkward moment resilience because I'm
Right.
afraid of awkward moments, and so I end up rescuing it,
Right.
which is something I need to work on.
Right. Where when I start over masking. So I feel like the prompt
Yes.
21 questions allows me to unmask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so,
Yeah.
so good. In the chat, says one question I had was how to better incorporate or communicate to others the social model of disability, quote unquote. I think both of you are familiar with this, but I'd like to incorporate that into my community building or entering an existing community. I actually don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Social model of disability, Kyle, if you could let us know what that is. I could also do the Googles. Um, but I love that this is where our podcast is heading. Like I
Yeah.
love that these are the questions that we're asking and that we're trying to answer from, a decolonized lens, a reparative, justice oriented lens. These are really, really great questions. So feel free if you want to say more. Stacy says hosting is so nerve wracking. That's why my bid plan is so big. Kyle says, no problem. It's basically the idea that disability is something put onto people like those with autism or chronically ill by society because society is not accommodating. Yes, right, right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, it's like we are the ones pathologizing it. It's pathologized within the system, but isn't inherently a disability. It's a disability inside the system.
Right.
Um, yes, that's totally. So you're saying I want to incorporate or communicate the social model of disability. Yeah. So it's like, how do you create a container that exists outside of the normative container of society?
Right.
Um, those are great questions. And I think allowing people to choose their own accommodations is so crucial, and creating a really transparent so like basically the nuclear fusion team, our team is trying to do that as the way that we function, and it really comes down to transparency. I think.
Expectations is what
Hmm.
came to mind
Hmm.
of like how to incorporate or communicate to others is just setting the expectations from the jump and then creating a container where you're set up to succeed in those expectations. Um, using desires and boundaries is kind of what came to mind with that.
Yeah. I don't know if this is related to this or not. I
Mhm.
think I am witty enough to try to make it sound related. But what's coming through my mind is on our retreat. So our team went on a retreat in the Catskills back in the fall. And as I mentioned, oh wait, no, this was on our interview before this. But our team is all neurodivergent. So every one of us, the core team, is autistic. And then some of us are also ADHD. And the person, our COO, Chris, was running the retreat. They had worked really, 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 really hard. Do you know where I'm going with this story? They had worked like really, really, really hard. They did a shitload of labor. They basically ran the entire retreat. So I went in having done nothing and was like, all right, let's do some workshops, you know? And Chris had like planned out everything. And we had set a plan to start crispy at 9 a.m. or something. We were going to work all day and go through all of these exercises that Chris had, whatever. And I wake up in the morning at like 9:40 and text Pia, I wanted to cuddle. And so then Pia comes up and starts cuddling me. And then it's like 9:58. And we're like, oh, I don't want to start crispy at 10. Like, fuck it. Let's text the team. Meeting, 10 a.m. meeting canceled. Everyone come cuddle. And Holly, our project manager, is just like, okay. And like, she's like, I was really ready to start at 10, but time to cuddle. Do, do, do. And like jumps in bed. And Chris comes up and gets in bed. It is just. And like, oh man, the energy was so it was clash of the tisms.
Yeah.
Clash of the tisms. Everyone's tism clashed. And of course, like we luckily have the skills. Because once upon a time that weird energy that they came in and with would have sent me into my stuff, and then they would have felt like they can't have needs, and it would have been mess. But they were able to communicate because we were like, what's wrong? And they were like, we said we were starting at 10. I was prepared to start at 10. I don't want to cuddle. If we want to cuddle, we need to schedule it. And it was like the whole team immediately was like, yep, totally.
You're right, Chris.
We did not. That expectation was not
Right,
met.
right,
You had an
right.
expectation that we all agreed to.
Right.
And now we're changing it. And it was just like messy, but we advocated for needs. And like, it was really easy to solve the problem and create a system where no one's needs were pathologized. No one's disabled in that moment. Again, I don't know if this is like a weird example, but like, we were able to then also schedule gooey cuddle time for later. And we were able to all collaborate to find the solution that worked for
Right.
the whole team.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was a good example.
Thank you.
Yeah. It might be a surprise to some folks.
Yeah.
I don't know if they normally cuddle at retreats. Kyle has a shout out in the comments here.
It says, by the way, give Chris a raise. He has been the man and been very supportive to me on an individual outreach level as well as to the community aero building. Oh, shout out, Chris. Chris is the best.
Yeah, Chris is also a professional certified life coach.
Mm-hmm. Nailed it.
Did I?
Certified professional, but yeah. And is also running our Avoidant, a user manual, everything you wish they'd tell you, but probably won't, workshop coming up in the network. I think it's March 23rd, but if you go to virtual events, It's in there. It's going to be fucking funny. It's going to be unlike anything. There's no resource that exists in the entire world like the one that Chris has made for the Nuclear Fusion Network.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good one for folks who like to get called out to do the work. Like if that motivates you to do the work, I feel like this is a fun one where it can be, like a funny way to be called out and be like, okay, actually, this is great tools, actually.
Yeah, if you love avoidance, but it also allows avoidance to be who they are and puts other people who fucking get frustrated with avoidance in their place.
That
Yeah,
part.
so if you are an avoidant who wants to do the work, but while loving yourself as you are and still getting to like be, in a safe place within yourself, but then also if you're someone who loves avoidance and wants to be in community and in relationship with avoidance, the workshop is relevant for both people. Yeah, okay. So how should we wrap it up here? The question says, what's a community design choice that makes spaces more autistic friendly?
Well, this is when I said always have a quiet space. Go. This is for physical community environments. One of my needs is I need a place to escape to.
Yeah.
Because if I get overstimulated, I want to run away and not be the weird one running away. So I will talk myself out of going to events that are in person if I feel like I won't have a place to escape.
Yeah.
Or if I feel like if I do escape, I'm going to be judged or something, right? Or made weird. I want it to be socially acceptable for me to be like, oh, I'm overstimulated. I'm going to go lay down in that dark room for a second,
Yeah.
So I super appreciate having quiet spaces, for people who need to regulate.
Yeah, I think it's really it. I also think it's remembering that, and I think neurotypical people struggle with this and neurodivergent people struggle with this, which is thinking your experience of the world is universal. And just remembering that it's not. But you might not need a sensory deprivation room, but other people do. You might not need to know exactly what time the event starts, or you might not need the event to start exactly at the time it says it's going to, but somebody else might, and somebody else might be very triggered by that. I think the number one thing coming up for me as somebody with, integrating a personality disorder, integrating trauma, same thing, and then in living life in chronic pain with ADHD and autism is I just need everybody to take responsibility for their shit. If you have needs, fucking take responsibility for them.
Yeah.
If your expectations aren't met, take responsibility for communicating the feedback.
Right.
If your feelings are hurt, take responsibility for letting somebody know that they crossed a boundary or, whatever. If you fucked up, take responsibility for repairing it. I just need people to own their shit.
Yeah. That's real, yo. Honestly, that's so real because if I felt like I can trust that people are doing that, I would feel more comfortable being in connection.
Yeah.
Because the emotional holding feels exhausting and I'm expecting that I'm going to have to emotionally hold people in connection more than I have capacity for is my expectation.
Yeah, and that's actually something very relevant in the avoidant workshop if that resonated with anybody. Avoidants are really good space holders and can end up taking on too much space holding, especially in a situation with anxious attachment folks who can't hold any space. Not even their own. But yeah, so I think that's it. And I do think that in order for community spaces to be inclusive, we have to remember people have trauma, and having trauma means some people haven't learned to take responsibility for their shit. They haven't learned to advocate for their needs. They haven't learned it's okay to have needs.
Right.
But what I have found at this point in my life, I can be in a broader community with people like that. But if you want to be in my inner circle, you got to be doing that work. I relationship with people who cannot take responsibility for their needs, their boundaries, their wants, their desires, their communication. It just doesn't, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's kind of a deal breaker if you want to be close, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was dope.
That was fun, yo.
I know. It was fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will get this replay up actually probably by the end of the night because that's why I recorded in 2 different places. And it's going to be so good. And let's front sell really quick. Uh, what's coming up in the network? We've got, oh, mine's not logged in. God, hold on one second here.
Well,
Virtual
just as
events.
that, I'm gonna shout out to the 5 people. Wait, 5 includes us? 4 people on the call, yo. Shout out.
Yeah, thank
Kyle,
you.
Stacy, Hannah, Brittany, thank you for being here.
Kyle, Stacy,
I know.
they're drinking, they're paying me for it. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Do the Thing with Pia, March 15th. It's the Do the Thing body doubling. What is that?
Yes. Body doubling. It's we're doing, or I'm hosting this on the last day of the challenge, right? For folks who procrastinate. If you haven't done a micro step towards your do the thing, this is a chance to do it with folks in a body doubling fashion. So we'll jump on Zoom. Everyone will present what they're going to be doing, right? What thing they're going to be doing. And then we're going to divide and conquer and do them together, separately and together.
Yep. And then we've got several badges next week. So we're hoping to hit different time zones. So I think there will be smaller groups, but that's cool. I think they've actually been really big lately, which has been fun, but and you can go to more than one, but you really only need to go to one. So Village Accountability Group is going to be to talk about the things that you're doing and what's coming up for you, and if you need any help or support or want to celebrate or anything like that. Then we've got our next live chat is next week with Holly and Chris. They'll be talking about the Bids of Connection 7-day challenge and like how it went, and literally from like a community end, but also from like the back end. We've got all these co-working body doubles with Micah that happen multiple times a week, every week. We have life support live coaching with Chris. So Chris is a really talented certified professional life coach. And if you want some life coaching, you can go to our live coaching call. And then we have the Avoidance of User Manual March 23rd. And then our final live chat of the month is with Pia and Holly, which is Nuclear Fusion 3.0 behind the scenes, which I actually think will be really, really fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. That's my genius zone.
Oh, that's gonna be sexy to watch you in your genius zone. Thank you guys for being a part of Nuclear Fusion Network, and we love you a lot. Bye.
Bye, y'all.